Over the last several weeks, I've been listening to a lot of YouTube content from a bunch of different, not influencers, but creators, people putting information out there, just trying to engage with a lot of the different topics that are impacting specifically America right now. And one of the things that I've wanted to reinforce in my own life coming out of that inundation that I've been putting myself through has been the concept of division and being opposed to division. And it was actually something that was solidifying in my mind a little bit ago. But to put it in context, one of the things I was listening to was Jocko, Willink and on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I don't listen to all of Joe Rogan. He's just had some good ones that I've listened to recently. So it probably sounds like I listen to 100% and I don't. But I was listening to Jocko on there. And one of the things they were talking about was how on social media and even just in general, but specifically they were talking about social media, the goal in what is posted often and what is pushed or encouraged to be posted is to enrage people. And it's emotional based media. And I was thinking about that because, first of all, what I've been noticing trying to listen to people who are new, woke, in the center, maybe opposed to some people on their side, but still left or still right, is that at the end of the day, there is a lot of division. And I have yet to find a voice that I feel like is actually consistently encouraging a pushback against division. And one of the things I was thinking about in the midst of everything that we've been going through over the last, couple months is I was listening to the song America by Neil Diamond. And goodness, I hope I got that right. I'll have to double check in the edit. But anyway, I was listening to the song America, and I love that song because it speaks to what America exists for, what it stands for, and that is something that I don't want to forget in the midst of everything that's been going on. And I think it's worth remembering why we're here. And it talks about the literally millions of immigrants who came to America for a reason. And people have even still are desiring to come to America. And that says something, and that's something that should be upheld and remembered at the forefront as we're trying to work towards all these different political, social, economic issues that impact all of us and substantively so. And so I was thinking about that. Thinking about media and putting it in the context of this emotional media. And I was thinking about, we've all been told, and we've all had discussions around how it's clickbait this, clickbait that. Oh, they're just trying to push titles. And we've all seen titles that are absolutely, as in titles to articles and whatnot, that are absolutely ludicrous, especially when you get into the article and it's often has nothing to do with what was in the title. And the fact is that it's not, I think we've maybe set aside or forgotten and not recognized the fact that those titles and the ubiquity of their use by literally every single platform, every single news source that's out there that I've certainly come across, is that they are based like that clickbaiting, that pushing for an agenda often is based on an effort on their part to tap into a specific emotion. They are trying, when you are clicking, it's not just clickbaiting, they're trying to get an emotional response out of you. And one of the things I've been thinking about is, in terms of moving forward and making progress, is we're encouraged these days to draw all these lines in the sand. And the fact is that humanity is a lot more complicated than that. Solutions are often a lot more complicated than they are trumped up to be. And the fact is there's often the unknown, and the factor that might not be taken into account because one is just unaware of how it will factor into the outcome of a specific solution. And so they might not be as helpful or as positive, or they might even have negative effects. But none of that is, generally speaking, brought up in discussions from a big picture, holistic perspective. And that is something that I think the response to that has to be a personal choice, that I am not going to be divided. And I'm not saying I won't have differences of opinion with people. I'm not saying I'm going to always change my opinion. I'm not saying that I don't believe strongly what I believe in. But I personally want to stand against the spirit and mentality of division. And that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and do a bunch of stuff. It doesn't mean I'm going to go post about it. It doesn't mean I'm going to go start a new campaign around it. It's just how I want to conduct my life and even my daily life, and how I'm thinking about things when I come across articles that are trying to engage an emotional response from me or from maybe people from a different political background. So it's not targeting me, it's targeting them. And the fact is it's a choice to be the master over your own perspective. And that is such an essential component to living life in today's whirlwind of politics, economics, social change, racial division, even just general familial division across the board. Whatever it is, there are differences of opinion, differences of perspective, and it's my choice not to be divided and to see the opportunity as one that has to be considerate of other people involved, and it has to take into account different perspective. And the fact is, I can't really control that perspective. And honestly, when you see what's being done in the media and social media, when I say media, news media and social media, it's often not an endeavor to encourage a different perspective or different point of view or to bring into the fold new minds. It's actually, the vast majority of the time, an effort or a campaign, whatever it looks like on those various platforms, to inculcate and dig in with the base and the readership or the viewership, the perspectives that are already in agreement with the perspective being put forward. And that is just digging the trench deeper. It's not encouraging, it's not uplifting, and it's not moving the needle forward, so to speak. So that's kind of the thought that I wanted to share with you all today, is a reminder that it's a choice to be the master of your own perspective. And it's essential to progress and moving forward and even just maintaining positivity in this world of craziness that we're living in, not to be divided. So that's the stance that I'm taking in my personal life, and as I'm engaging with different content and things like that. It's my responsibility to control that, and then my responsibility to respond in a mature, thoughtful, and intellectual manner.